Hello everybody and welcome back to episode 137 of the Save Slot 3 Gamescast. I'm your host, Eve Gizmo, joined this week by Massive Daz.
Hello everyone.
And Craig being Craig.
Hi Dave.
So boys, big episode this week. We've got PlayStation's 30th anniversary stuff to talk about. We've got all kinds of pure, unadulterated shenanigans. So let's start off this with what we always start with. It's the Pengle's news desk. Time for some news.
There's 11 items on the news desk.
So Baker's dozen, Pengi.
Yep. After 31 years, Dave, Shuhei Yoshida is retiring at PlayStation.
Yeah, he is. We've got this lovely picture of an ever happy Chris Pengelly standing next to Shuhei Yoshida.
Yes.
Is this the picture you use in all your profile pictures, Pengi?
Pretty much, yeah.
You really should have smiled, mate.
He doesn't do smiling, Chris. He does,
Yeah.
I know. I'm not even looking at the picture I had in front of me, but I know exactly the picture.
Yeah, he knows.
And
the one Dave uses like my face all the time, I think.
Yeah, it's one of my favourite faces.
Yeah. So
I've got it saved on here on my computer as Pengi face. So if I ever need to use a Pengi face for anything, that is indeed the face that I go for.
Yeah. So after 31 years, he's through. So before PlayStation even launched, he was there.
He was?
Yeah, when I saw him, he was doing like a talk in like a hall at EGX and stuff like that, and then he was doing meet and greet afterwards and stuff like how weirdly, I think it's a Destiny Taken King poster signed by him. It's like all I had on me. That's like all I had. Well, now I guess Bungie is part of PlayStation. Back then it wasn't. Yeah, I think that's like the only thing I had on me. Like got him to sign. So yeah.
I should get him to sign your arm. They get someone to tattoo over it or something, Pengi. You know?
Yeah.
If it'd been Hideo.
Yeah, that's just like a Pengi thing to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, if it was a Hideo. Thing. Yeah, so he's worked on quite a few games and stuff, haven't he? Like, I think, these first, like, big one, Legend of Dragoon, from what I remember on PlayStation 1.
He's always trying to bring it back.
Yeah,
she's a funny one, because obviously, I mainly know him from the Colin and Greg
Indie
Beyond
stuff.
And Kind of Funny days, because he was on those shows a lot with the Vita and all that kind of stuff, so. And obviously the famous PS4 How Do You Share a Game video, right, with Adam Boyce, so. But yeah, it's sad that he's retiring because obviously, or leaving PlayStation. But equally, I think he said he's still staying in the games industry, but probably as a consultant. But yeah, it's all change over at PlayStation.
Yeah. Number 2, sticking on PlayStation, there's been a 30th anniversary update to the PS5. And we turn it on, you get the PlayStation 1 start up, and you now have got some themes. Davey, I believe you've selected the PS2 style theme.
Yeah, so because this dropped this afternoon because I put it into our group chat and I added it to this, and what a cool little thing they've done. So they have it now. Obviously, I don't know. I know you probably have at this point, Chris, but I don't think Craig has. Have you played your PlayStation today, Craig?
No, I turned it on earlier to look at some of the sales stuff, and I think I might have triggered the update.
Nice. So when you reload your PlayStation back up, it will do a 30th anniversary splash screen. It will do the PlayStation 1 intro when you restart the PlayStation now, which is really cool. I think they've said this is limited time, but they really need to keep it. And then you can choose a variety of themes for your PlayStation, for the whole PlayStation, not just the welcome page. You can have PS1, PS2, PS3, PS4, or a 30th anniversary one, and all of them have specific like tone sounds from those consoles. So on the PS2 one I have, it's the noise it used to make if you navigated the menu, Craigo. The accepting and the cancelling out buttons are the same as well, which is kind of cool. And they did this on PS4, so, and I think Vita. But yeah, it's cool that they've gone back to it, and it's a whole host of 30th anniversary stuff that they have put up today. Websites, quizzes. I think there's a video they put up. So very cool stuff.
Did they ever put the controller back up? Because when they going to put that back up?
I looked today and still no. I'm hoping soon because I really want it.
Yeah, that original like the coloured logo for the PlayStation 1 is really cool. Isn't it?
Yeah, just having coloured buttons again. They just need to bring that back.
Yes. I went for the. I've gone for the. I did try all the themes. I've gone for the PS4 theme. The PS2 one is nice, and I like that. You get a little bit of blue background in your welcome page, but I prefer the when you move stuff around noise that you get from the PS4 than the PS2's warmth or whatever it is.
Absolutely.
Number 3, Cyberpunk 2077 has now sold 30 million copies, and Phantom Liberty has sold 8 million copies. Craig, you're one of those 30 million copies. Not one of the 8 million for Phantom Liberty, as far as I'm aware.
No, I'm pretty sure I do. I can see it now. I still own my Cyberpunk copy as well. Because I kept it in the thought of, when they do the expansion, I'll get the expansion.
Mm-hmm.
And then it kind of took quite so long for them to get the expansion out. And the expansion is so massively different. And I know that everyone says it's amazing. I'm sure it is amazing as well. I don't know. And a lot of the talk was, you need to start again, basically. Because it's kind of a new game. And I was like, I don't know if I want to start again, though.
Yeah, because they did the big 2.0 update, didn't they, as well,
Yeah.
around it. So it's a weird one, isn't it? I get, like, you start again another 30 hours or whatever, but no, I guess you see how many changes they did from 1.0 to 2.0 if you were to do that.
Yeah,
sort of
it's
thing.
tough though, and there's always so much to play. But yeah, it'd be interesting because Cyberpunk is such a strange game for me because the game is just so many things like incredibly well, and then some things you're just like, what, why, how? So yeah, it would be interesting. I bet now it's like if you were to like play this now, having never ever played Cyberpunk, you probably like this is one of the best games ever made.
Dave, if you were to go play Cyberpunk and have the first time, it could be one of the very best games ever.
Well, it's funny because I bought the Ultimate Edition PS5 version on disc about 8 months ago, because it's on my backlog thing.
Yes.
Cyberpunk, because like I said, it was whenever they did the update. I think it was January they did the update. I'm just looking at when I bought it, and that obviously comes with Phantom Liberty, so it's been installed on my PlayStation since I've got this PlayStation. But yeah, I do really want to get to it. It looks amazing now. So every time I see stuff from the 2.0 update, it does just look like a different game. So I'm kind of like, like again, the game that people have played, people like. So the fact that it's like massively improved, has all this extra content, has a DLC, it's one of those, like, I do genuinely want to get to it at some point. I'd like to get to it after Dragon Age. As we know, with me, things can change, obviously. But yeah, it looks cool, and I'm glad it's done well, because I think The Witcher has been so good. You always hope that the one misstep doesn't completely tank the company, and it doesn't look like that's happened, clearly. So that's really cool, and I'm sure that when The Witcher 4 comes out, that will still be good as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, 30 million copies is
it's huge nowadays. Yeah, you think of, like, I'm sure Chris has better numbers than I do, but like most first-party games don't do 30 million copies.
No.
Especially a game that was so, like, well, let's be honest, it was so bad at launch.
Yeah, such a mess.
You know what I mean?
So much bad publicity on that line.
Right, and until the Ultimate Edition, they didn't do a PS5 or Xbox Series X and S physical version. So you had to use your older ones. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like, usually you get that re-release bump, which I would imagine is 5 or 6 of these 8 million, because they are bundled with the DLC. So, but yeah, again, if it's always cheap physically, I always see the PS5 version for around about like £21-22. So
Yeah,
people...
I was gonna say, for me, like Craig saying, like, replay it. Like, I played it on Xbox, but like if I was to play it on PlayStation, it's like, I'm playing on a different console.
Well,
and
you've got the Portal, haven't you? That's what I was going to say.
Portal as well, and obviously I've not played the the expansion, I should say, for either. So that could like work to me. Like, I'm playing it again, but I'm playing on a different system.
I guess for you guys, you really need the base game to go into like PS Plus, then you just get the DLC in a sale or something.
No, I still own my.
Did you put that on Xbox?
My original copy. Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I say, I've still got my original disc.
God, get on that, boy.
Yeah. And Dave the Diver sold 5 million copies.
There you go.
I would love to know how heavily weighted that is towards Steam, because I feel like that is a massive like PC SPC game.
Steam and Switch, isn't it? It was quite popular on Switch.
Yeah. So there's that. And what? Well, talking about Switch, Dave. You could play Donkey Kong Land 2 on your Game Boy NSO.
I think that's one of the Game Boy games I actually still own on Game Boy. Pengi. It had a yellow cartridge, I believe.
It was both. It was Game Boy and it was enhanced
Color.
Game Boy Color. It was a Pro console before Pro consoles.
Right back in the day.
Yeah. And if you don't want to play that, you can play Toe Jam and Earl in Panic on Funkatron, Vectra Man, or Marks on your Mega Drive NSO.
I mean, Vector Man's pretty great.
It's not.
Oh, I like Vector Man. But
Toe Jam and Earl is good.
Oh, I guess. I mean, it's not. None of these games are going to drive you back to the Switch, are they? Let's be honest.
No. Well, I didn't know they were going to drive you back. That's 4 retro games there.
I love a retro game, Pengi, but none of those. None of those are screaming. Dave, turn on your Switch. If I'm honest, not this week anyway.
Not this week. So number 5, Black Ops 6 is the number 1 COD in 30 days for players, hours, and matches. How many matches have you played, Craig?
Quite a lot, actually. I think
we've sweated this out, Pengi. I'll be honest.
Yeah, we really did. We had. I don't know if it was last week, Dave, but it was pretty much every night, wasn't it?
Yeah.
One of us was texting the other like, "Oh, can you squeeze a couple of games in? I got an hour in me, Dave. You know."
Right.
And I'm still like we've prestige now.
Mm-hmm.
There's not much more like achievements we get, but I'm still like, I kind of do want to look back on play a bit more multiplayer because it is very good.
Yeah, I've had to stop myself. Like I've had to physically be like, no, I need to finish Dragon Age. Like I need to finish these games. Like I'm like, right, well I know I've got games coming for Christmas. Like I've physically had to be like, right, no, we've got to sit here and play some actual like proper video games because it's such a good game, Pengi. Like I can't emphasize enough. This is probably the most I've enjoyed COD since maybe Modern Warfare 2. Like this is by far like
one. I reckon it's probably the last one.
Right, it's one of those games. If I ever saw it physically on PS5 for like 20 quid, I'd buy it for the sake of playing it with my other friends that all have PS5s, and it's just easier than crossplay. Because like I said to you on a text the other day, one of my friends has gone out and bought a PS5 with COD because he hasn't bought a console since the 360. Like my brother's playing COD every night. I'm like, fuck, they're all obviously all on PlayStation, and I'm like, do I figure out? Can I get normies to understand how the Activision accounts work? But yeah, great game. Like, yeah, you'll enjoy it when you play it. Legacy. I've only played about 3 missions of the campaign, and I know Craig talks quite highly of the campaign as well. So I think you're going to really enjoy it. The only thing you're not going to enjoy is installing it because it is a bit of a nightmare to install on PlayStation. I would imagine. I did have to talk my brother through it on the phone, so I can only imagine how fun that's going to be for you.
Great times. Great times. So on the PlayStation, number 6, Sony confirms the PS2 has sold over 160 million units. Where have they suddenly found the rest of these console sales, Dave?
So funny. They were like, oh, hang on a minute, the Switch is getting really close. No, we sold 160. That wasn't 155, it was 160. So funny. If they re-released this, if they were like, right, we're going to make like 10 million PS2s, like slims, like in the modern day, with like HDMI out, those fuckers would sell within. I reckon they'd sell 10 million. I'm not even joking. I reckon you'd sell 10 million PS2s if they just re-released a slim with HDMI out. You'd buy one.
Yeah,
I'd buy one.
I will. Yeah.
We'd force Craig to buy one for content.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm surprised, like, analog things haven't. They've done a few CD-based systems. I guess it's hard to emulate the PS2 or cost.
I think the lasers are just really expensive because it's specific lasers that read them, isn't it? It's not just like any old CD drive.
Yeah.
Work. So.
Yes. Yeah. So yeah, they sold some more PS2. The last time we got numbers, so they stopped numbers in 2012, but they stopped manufacturing the PS2 in 2013. So obviously, I guess is whatever they sold in 2013, which is still mental because you got to think the PS4 came out in 2013. They were still selling PS2s in 2013. Yeah. So there's that. At number 7, Xbox Era Avatars app will be closing in January 2025. Craigie, will you be playing any game that uses an avatar between now and January 2025?
No, I didn't. I was going to say I didn't really use the Avatar that much. The only thing I can think of is Doritos actually.
Mm.
Doritos Crash
Well, that's a
Course.
360. The 360 one's staying up.
Yeah.
Yeah, Joyride Turbo is another one I was playing quicker. It's like a Mario Kart clone. But yeah, I don't think many use the Xbox One one.
All I can think is Connect games. Did they use the Xbox One ones, or
maybe.
did they?
Like Connect Rivals, maybe, or launch titles?
Yeah, but I go and Connect Adventures and I'm like, oh, that's a 360 game. So I don't really actually even know what used the avatars on Xbox One. So I don't know what will actually happen when that closes if you do play an Xbox One game that had avatars. I don't. Maybe that's why they've not really mentioned it going to be an issue, because maybe nothing actually really uses them. But yeah, it's closing. So yeah. And I guess why they're keeping the 361 up, because Doritos and stuff uses the avatars.
Maybe, yeah,
Maybe.
but I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess it would really fuck with some games.
Yeah. Number 8, Devolver held the Delayed Awards, which Baby Steps, Stick It in the Stickman, and Skate Story all won awards and will be delayed till 2025. You looking forward to any of these, Craigie?
I'm literally watching the trailer for Skate Story because I've forgotten which one it was.
Mm-hmm.
That's look kind of cool, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Does look kind of cool. So yeah, maybe that. I don't know about Baby Steps. I'm not quite sure what Stick It to the Stickman is, but Devolver do tend to release some good games, right? So.
Mm.
And I imagine, some of these might be on subscription services as well, which always helps, right?
Yes.
Just,
I've got a weird feeling Baby Steps was confirmed for Plus ages and ages ago, but I could be wrong.
God knows. Stick It to the Man was a very weird looking indie game that was like really early in like Wii U, PS4 era, right? I think had like a double fine art style.
Yeah, but this is Stick It to Stickman.
Yeah, I wonder if it's just the same, but he's a stick man. God knows.
This is some sort of like
who even knows?
Stickman brawler thing I'm watching a trailer for now.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
Remember those games from the Flash days, Craigie?
Yeah.
Yeah, I guess none of them do anything for you, Davey. Too indie, even from Devolver.
No, thank you. Nothing.
Okay, no. Next one, Light of Motorium was announced from Tencent, and it looks just like Horizon Zero Dawn. But it's a survival crafting game, like the arcs and stuff like that. And it's also weirdly coming to PlayStation. Have you seen this one, Dave?
Yeah, I mean, you're underselling how much it looks like Horizon Zero Dawn. Like, it's like
the Power World of Horizon.
It's more than Power World. Like, it is more blatant than Power World. It's wild. Like, it is like the same game. Even the character they use as the main character for all the screenshots looks like Aloy.
The music sounds the same as well.
Yeah, it's like insane. Like, it's insane.
The dinosaur robots look like the exact same dinosaur robots.
Yeah, in these they're called Mechanimals.
Mm-hmm. But do you know why it won't get sued?
Because it's Tencent and
exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Pretty sure Tencent has at least some piece of some pie in Sony at this point.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why not a chance.
Also, Tencent, didn't they own a bit of From Software?
They do.
Sony, so he could be like, Mr. Tencent, give us a bit of From Software, and we won't see you for that game or something.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think they're going to make more. Judging from this, I think they're going to make more off you there from investment than this.
Yeah.
It almost looks like a bit of like Monster Hunter-y combat kind of thing as well, but maybe a bit dumbed down. It looks.
Yeah, which is what Horizon is basically, to be honest.
Yeah. This week, because obviously they're saying this is a survival like crafting game, which in the like a 10-minute trailer they were showing like the character that looks like Aloy, like in the village building like contraptions and stuff to like grow crops and all that sort of thing. So different type of genre, but the combat, like you said, did look a bit Monster Hunter. And the rumored multiplayer Horizon game is a Monster Hunter clone, supposedly. So that could be quite interesting comparisons there. If that game comes out, the multiplayer Horizon. Just a lot of Horizon.
Indeed.
Number 10. So we had the Game Industry Awards, which is UK awards things, and they crowned Helldivers 2 as Game of the Year. So that's the Game of the Year for Helldivers 2 there. Not a DLC, not an expansion, an actual game that came out this year. Got Game of the Year. So,
Nice.
but Dave,
It is wild to me. Like I think I said this last week. I can't think of anything better than bloody Helldivers 2.
well, this was picked by industry, people, game studios and stuff. They picked Helldivers 2. So, yeah.
Yeah, it's pretty wild.
But last week it was critics. This week it's industry people that work at game studios and stuff. So there you go. But Dave,
Yes, mate.
they did give a silly award out.
What was that?
So guess what won best narrative? Okay. These awards.
Balatro.
Nope.
No idea.
A 4-year-old video game, Dave.
Oh no.
Yeah, they gave the best narrative to The Last of Us Part 2 Remastered.
God, which isn't even true because everyone hated the story of that game. That was the thing everyone complained about.
Story's great. Yeah.
God.
So yeah. So they did give out a dumb award as well, a bit like when Shadow of the Erdtree wins Game of the Year at the Game Awards. And then the last bit of news, we got our plus games for December, which is It Takes Two, Aliens Dark Descent, and Temtem. Any of them for you guys? Didn't you actually didn't you play It Takes Two in co-op? I'm almost remembering that.
I think we're going to, and it'll either be
Yeah,
on
we
PlayStation.
started it ages ago, didn't we?
Yeah, it'll either be on PlayStation now because it's on Plus, or it will be on Xbox, whichever we can be bothered to do, I think. But yeah, it's not a great month for a Christmas month. Usually they both have traditionally done quite big things, haven't they, for December? Unless January is going to be that. But yeah, I think Extra and Premium will probably save.
So I think It Takes Two because it's because we got the Game Awards and it was Game of the Year Awards winner. Was it 2 years ago now?
I mean, yeah, I don't think the general public care about the Game Awards. I think
No, but I think that's most probably why. Because they even mention, no, it's not on here, but there is something, they had rewards about Game of the Year winners and stuff like that, so.
yeah, I mean, I guess it's supposed to be a good game, right? So that sort of really matters. Temtem's a weird one because I don't think anyone really likes that. It's an online game as well. What was the other one?
Aliens Dark Descent,
which is on Game Pass.
Game Pass.
Yeah. So again, that's supposed to be quite fun. Again, another co-op game. So
yeah. But that's not the only thing. There's also going to be a trial of Warhammer 40k Space Marine 2, which will be added December 3rd. I don't know how long the trial is. It's normally about 2 hours, the trial, and sort of thing. So either you're going to check it out like this, or you're just going to buy the game.
Gregor?
So I've bought the game. That's what I've done, Pengi.
Ooh.
Yeah, it was on the Amazon Black Friday sale, which ended today, and I realised that I had a £10 of Amazon voucher through work.
Mm-hmm.
I think I got it for £26 or something like that.
Nice.
And also, there's an episode of it on the Amazon anthology thing coming up, right?
Yes.
Which must be really soon. I keep forgetting that it's going to be
12th of December, I think.
Yeah, and there's a Space Marine episode which I believe follows on from the main story. I think that's right. Yeah, so I was like, oh, I kind of, I might get placed to Space Marine now.
Mm-hmm.
Nice.
What about you, Dave? Are you going to try check out the trial, or are you doing Craig going to get the game? Or you might even get the game for Christmas. Who knows?
Yeah, I'll get the game eventually. If I don't get it for Christmas, it might be the game that I use Amazon vouchers on. There's just way too much to play to go out and to try a game that I'm not gonna have or be playing imminently, but I'm sure it'll be great, and I'm sure the level 5 thing, the level whatever they're doing, is going to be great, because obviously Warhammer 40,000 is an amazing universe, so there's no reason why it wouldn't be great, boys.
Talking about lots of games, they also announced part of the 30th anniversary some classics early, which will also be coming early. They're coming December 10th, and it's Sly 2, Band of Thieves, Sly 3, Honor Among Thieves, and Naughty Dog's Jak and Daxter, The Precursor Legacy are getting added. And this is a little bit sneak peek as well, so there's going to be more games in the premium thing, but this is 3 that are coming a little bit early due to the 30th anniversary. Dave, will you be checking out any of these ones then?
Yeah, so we did literally say on the show, didn't I, that if they put Sly 2 and 3 on, please, because we want it. We all need it. So I'm very excited that I'm going to get to play Sly 2, because it's a game I've never finished, and I've never even touched Sly 3. So yeah, really excited to play that. And it's interesting to note that Jak and Daxter is a new version, because it's on the new emulator and it has all the new bells and whistles. So it will probably be, and it will definitely be, new trophy lists. And I think I have the platinum for the first. I have the platinum for that one or the second one.
I think
PS4,
I watched Mystic's video, and this would be like the 5th or 6th time you can get the platinum of this, because you got the PS3 remaster, the Vita remaster, the PS4 version, and this one is going to be on PS4 and so there'll be 5 platinum trophies, I think, for this game. I think.
Yeah, exactly. So, the first one's a really great game. If you haven't, I imagine Craig's the only person that hasn't played Jak and Daxter amongst us. But the first one's a really, really good sort of semi-open world platformer. Really, really, really good. And then the second and third ones get a little bit more like weirdly third-person shooter. Whereas the Sly games are a bit more stealthy, but like baby's first stealth. And the 3 Sly games are some of the best PS2 games. And I do encourage people to play that series. All of them should be fairly doable platinums, I would imagine, if they're
the first
lists.
One was.
Yeah, if the lists are fairly similar. I know they're different to what the ports were for Sly 1 anyway. But yeah, good times. I mean, I'm hoping that we get some more games, and I'm really hoping, and I would imagine there'll be some PlayStation 1 stuff, Chris, for the 30th anniversary of the PlayStation 1
Yeah, I don't know, because last month they put like 6 games, didn't they? They put Legacy of Kain. I can't remember what else they put. And obviously they put a VR game, so there'd be a VR game added as well. So that's the thing. I've not. Sly 1 played this year was the first time I played it, and this would be the first time playing 2 and 3. And 3's like little thumbnail here is like the logo, and the background is much more colourful than even Sly 2. So I don't know if they've like upped the art style or whatever, or more budget, being the third one in.
Yeah, graphically 3 is much better, because 2's better than 1 by quite a bit, but like 3 is like, it was a late PS2 game, so like it's like they really know what they're doing. Obviously it's the team behind Infamous and Ghost of Tsushima, so like it's Sucker Punch. Obviously it's a very good game. Yeah, like I'd quite like them to put the Sanzaru port of the PS3 game on there at some point, because that game's also really good, a little bit underrated. But again, it's whether they want to keep Sly alive at this point. Is that one of the games you can stream for use in time, Pengi?
Possibly.
I know Resistance 3 you could, but yeah, play those games. They're great. Play all. To be honest with you, play all of the classic games, because a lot of them are really fun. When we get to our end of year look back, you'll see that. I mean, I've platinumed quite a few of them this year. PSP. I'm
expecting your re-released award top 5 to be PlayStation Classics.
It could well be the way it's going. It could well be.
Or even the subscription award, I guess.
God.
You could give it the PlayStation Classic. Do you do anything for you, Craigie? Some old PS2 games?
Maybe something I could play handheld. Definitely.
I can see that.
Because I got the platinum for Sly 1 on Vita, and I'd imagine, well, I know for a fact that the Portal has much better sticks and stuff. But yeah, I think you'd quite enjoy it. I mean, Sly 1's quite a short game. I think you can play it all the way through in about 5 hours, 6 hours maybe, Pengi. So like, yeah, I do really recommend. I recommend the classics range for Portal use, especially Clone Wars, Grego.
There's also a free multiplayer weekend that's going to be this weekend. So I guess the thing, there's a PlayStation tournament happening. And there's also, if you do play a classic game between the 10th and 23rd of December, so basically when Fly 2 and that's added, you'd be entered into a sweepstakes to win 30 months of PlayStation Plus Premium. So I guess to get you into those classics, there's some offers for not PlayStation movies, but Sony movies on the core thing. And yeah, so a little bit of update on plus some other things for the 30th anniversary, because it's like 30% off a film because it's 30th anniversary thing. So if you want to watch Gran Turismo the movie, you can. And that is the news.
Lovely, Pengi.
Mm-hmm.
Right, so let's get into the topic of the show, Craigo. Tots. So, we've done this before. I can't remember what we did it for, Pengi. Can you remember?
We did it for Xbox.
We did it for Xbox. So we're going to do the definitive save
because
slot.
Kind of Funny did this for PlayStation, and I was like, well, Craig can't really do PlayStation, so let's copy that, but for Xbox.
But now, of course, Craig has missed a PlayStation.
Yes.
So he's become everything he's ever hated. I mean, I think probably Nintendo. I think PC might be the final straw.
Yeah, everyone hates PC.
Right, if Craig turns around and he's like, yeah, I got some RTX, then we'd probably just shoot him because he's clearly some sort of monster that's overtaking Craig's body. But
Pedophile.
yeah, exactly. Like, I work for the CSA, so I'll be like, right, guys, he touches kids. So, before Craig touches kids, Pengle's going to talk us through what we're going to be looking at.
So, Craig sent us 10 his 10 favorite PlayStation games. You then sent yours, Dave, and then I sent mine, because let Craig go first because it's the least options to pick from. And so we have 30 titles, which don't actually divide that well. So we have 2 games already got to buy into the next round, which is Horizon Zero Dawn, which would have been on all 3 lists from far as I'm aware, and Marvel Spider-Man 2, because it was on last year's Game of the Year. Then everything else was randomly drawn. I did the random thing 10 times, so we have a random matchup. So there is a matchup of 2 games of mine, for instance, but we'll have to decide what goes through there until we have a final winner. Yeah.
Nice. So we're going to go in the order of which I have it in front of me. So there is buys and all kinds of shenanigans here. So we're going to start here at the top. Boys, are you ready? Mm-hmm. Also, I know that Craig Warren plans to stay out of this. You can't stay out of this, Craig. So what I'm telling you right now is have your phone or laptop ready, because if there is a 1-1 split between me and Pengi for something you haven't played, you need to watch the trailers for both and decide on the spot what you like the look of the most.
Oh no, I think
because otherwise it's
to be adults,
it's
and
not
you
going
need
to work.
to agree on. You need to talk it out like grown men.
No, there's 3 of us. There is 3 of us on this podcast. You need to grow a pair of Craig Warren. Okay?
What you've both played, which is the better game, and which you want to move on.
But what about, for example, games that we own? Like Craig's played 1. No, sorry, Chris has played 1. I've played the other, and you haven't played. You have to then decide which of the 2 looks best.
Yeah, I might get involved in that. Yeah,
you're gonna have to. Right.
Yeah.
So we're gonna start off here with the first one that we've got on Chris's list. So you should be able to see this. I apologise if it looks bad. It doesn't really like it when it's all shrunk and weird. There's not really an easy way to make this, to be honest with you. But we're trying our best here. We're going to do it live. So, number 1 matchup, Craig Warren. Marvel's Spider-Man Miles Morales versus The Last of Us Part 2.
Well, I've only played one of these, so it's Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales Day.
Chris Pengelly.
The Last of Us Part 2.
I've also only played Miles Morales, so Miles Morales gets through.
Easy. See, this is easy.
God, it's not easy. It's decided. It's defaulted to 62 size, so we're gonna have to shrink that all the way down, Craig. This is what I meant by it being a bit awkward, Pengi. We'll get it. We're gonna get it. We're doing it live. There we go, Miles Morales. So next one along, we have got quite a difficult one, I think. Gran Turismo 2 on the PlayStation 1 and Death Stranding. Do you have any input at all on this, Craig, or do we go immediately to Pengi?
No, you can talk it out.
Chris Pengelly.
Yeah, so Death Stranding is one of my favorite games of all time, and I think it is very PlayStation, even though it's on like everything now. You know, being a single-player, story-driven, cinematic title, very PlayStation. But it is on everything now. With Gran Turismo 2, obviously 100% exclusive to PlayStation. Series is still going, and weirdly, like our list of 30 games is a very strange, obviously, list. We haven't got much PS1, and when I do think PS1, I don't actually really think PlayStation's exclusive from like Gran Turismo or I think Final Fantasy, Tekken, Silent Hill, Resident Evil. You know, like we're still playing them 30 years on, so I think it is a tough one. I would like Death Stranding to go through, but I can see why you would want Gran Turismo 2 to mostly go through, Dave.
For me, as Gran Turismo 2 is the only Gran Turismo on this list. It is the best-selling franchise on PlayStation. It's so synonymous with PlayStation. We're getting a 30th anniversary special free-to-play version of the game based on the PS1 stuff. So for me, it's got to be Gran Turismo 2. I've played Death Stranding a little bit now, but I have also played it on Xbox, which goes against everything we stand.
Yes.
Craigo, I'm afraid you're probably going to have to be the deciding vote
No,
here.
you do talk it out here, boys, because I feel like Pengels is giving some room here, Dave.
Yeah.
You need to, you know.
Yeah, Gran Turismo 2 can go through.
Okay.
There you go.
Gran Turismo. Now, this is
So proud of you two.
this is actually one that really does need you, Craig, because you've played both of these games, and I've only played one of them. So we have got God of War 2018 and Shadow of the Colossus. Chris Pengelly.
So did I put both of these through? I definitely put Shadow of the Colossus through, and I
I
haven't.
put God of War.
Fun?
I
You
put
ain't
God
got
of War. Yeah.
Yeah, see, in Shadow of the Colossus, I do have higher on my like personal games list, but God of War is, I think, if you were going to like recommend a PlayStation game now, I think God of War makes more sense than Shadow of the Colossus as well. And again, a little bit like Death Stranding. If you think PlayStation, you're thinking single player, cinematic action adventure game. You know, the two characters and stuff like that, which God of War is. So even as like my team one, I would mostly vote God of War as well. So I think this is where we all vote for God of War. I could be wrong.
No, you're right. I mean, I've not played Shadow of the Colossus. I know the PS4 version is supposed to be a lot better. And Craig, you relatively enjoyed it, right? You didn't mind it?
Yeah, it's okay. But I think there is a massive gulf in class.
And
between
you
the two,
really
personally.
need to play Ragnarok, Craig.
Yeah, there's a lot of things I need to play there,
There
Dave.
is.
There's a lot.
Right, let's get to one that I'm going to have to admit defeat straight away, but I'll still talk my piece. We've got Metal Gear Solid versus The Getaway Black Monday. I really like The Getaway. Really great game series. I wish they'd bring back or put on the classics system, but I've also played Metal Gear Solid, so I can, in my right mind, say that The Getaway Black Monday is going to go through. So, Chris,
I obviously put Metal Gear Solid.
Yeah,
It's Metal Gear, isn't it?
there is no arguments here. Now, where there might be some arguments is in the next one, Craigo, because this again does involve you. Ni no Kuni 2: Revenant Kingdom versus Metal Gear Solid 4: Guns of the Patriots. Craig Warren.
Yeah, so I put Kuni 2 forward. Kind of mainly because I just wanted something a bit different. Because my list was I had a very small pool of games I could really pick from.
Yeah, I think if we did this list in a year's time, that might be different. But
yeah, it might be a bit more interesting.
Yeah.
When I had to put all 3 Spider-Man games on, I was like, oh god, this is a bit boring, isn't it? But yeah, so I put Kuni something a little bit more interesting. I mean, even if I had played Metal Gear Solid, whatever it was you just said, I don't think I'd like it because I can't stand that shit. So yeah, Kuni
Pengi
would be for me.
So it's Metal Gear. I put Metal Gear Solid 4 through. It's like the last Metal Gear like game in the series in timeline. All the stuff. It is. Anything it is more of a movie than a game. Like it infamously has and like a 90-minute cutscene. So that's the same length, as a game of football, as a cutscene at the end, which thing. But like this is the game that sold me on a PS3, and they were $599. Get a second job. I remember Davey thing. Yeah,
It's
you got
difficult.
a pick here,
Yeah,
so you could have Metal Gear against Metal Gear in the next round though.
yeah, it's difficult because I just haven't played Metal Gear Solid 4. I'd love to play it, and I'd love it to be released from its prison on PS3.
Yeah, that is it. One of the problem is stuck on the PS3.
Yeah, and to be honest with you, I really do like Ni no Kuni 2. So again, had I played MGS4, maybe there'd be more of an argument, and I can completely see the argument. I think, unfortunately, Chris, by default of me having actually played the game, it is going to be Ni no Kuni 2, I'm afraid.
Mm-hmm.
Ni no Kuni 2. Great game as well, everyone, so you should play it. This might be...
It was the first New Nikuni. That was great.
I actually think 2 is the better game.
Yeah, but you don't have Drippy in the...
No, like, 1's got a better story, but 2 is way... But gameplay-wise, I really prefer 2. I think 2's great. Both games are really cheap all the time, so I really recommend people play it. It's on everything now as well, I think.
Yeah, it is.
Next, we've got Journey versus Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time. So, difficult one, this, because obviously I think this is another scenario where Craig's played none of them. I've only played Ratchet. I've played Ratchet and Clank, and Chris obviously played Journey. Pengles, do your pitch.
So I've not played any of Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time. I do own it on PS3, but I've never actually played it, so I can't comment if it's a very good Ratchet and Clank game or not. But obviously, Journey is one of the best indie titles ever made. It put PSN on the map of that late PS3 cycle where you had your Journeys, your Unfinished Swans, etc. And obviously, then you had your Last of Us is coming out as well. This is a very late push on the PS3 of these great exclusive content. Did clever things where you played co-op with someone, but you don't actually know who the person is, and at the end of the credits, it's you played with Craig or something. Okay, Craig is the one I went on my journey on, and it's great. It still looks beautiful. The fat sand and the colours and that, great time. I think Craig would really like it as well. That's the thing, Dave.
It's one I'm not going to stand here and try and argue Ratchet and Clank: A Crack in Time being more iconic than Journey. So we'll give it. I'll be honest, Chris. It's not going to survive the next round. So I'll let you have it through this round. But I do encourage people to play Crack in Time. I hope they do some sort of remaster of the PS3 games, because this one's really, really good. It's probably...
Is this your favourite Ratchet and Clank? I'm guessing?
Yeah, by a long way. And bear in mind that I really like the PS4 one and A Rift Apart that you're playing at the moment. But A Crack in Time is the game that's set canonically before Rift Apart, and there's a lot of really cool time mechanic levels, and it really, and excuse the pun, ratchets up the quality. It's a fact. Both of the mainline PS3 games are impeccable games. A lot better than the PS4 one, I think. I think A Rift Apart is close, but I didn't want to give it the recency Bias. But Cracking Time's a great game. Really, really.
Yeah, you are right, because they are on PlayStation Plus through streaming, the Resistance. Yeah. It does need a HD port or something onto the PS4/PS, for 5. Yeah, because I'm still doing it on the PS4. Sort of thing. But then people were like, oh no, another remaster. But yeah, I was like, I would play that if you gave me the PlayStation 3 trilogy or whatever it is together.
Yeah, definitely. Next up, a really tough matchup, and we're getting Craig back in the fold here. Astrobot versus Sackboy: A Big Adventure. Craigo.
Yeah, I put them both forward. I really like Sackboy. It's a great game, especially playing co-op, right? But I think it's quite comfortably Astrobot in reality.
Yeah, I mean, it's an unfortunate matchup for Sackboy. I think it's one of the most underrated games on PS5. I really do think people forget it's a thing, but it's a very, very, very good game. So yeah, I think we're all in agreement with Astrobot, Pengi.
Yeah, it's Astrobot.
Fucking hell. Next one's going to be fun. Right, next one we have got Final Fantasy IX versus Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Obviously for me it's Final Fantasy IX. Probably the best Final Fantasy game. My favourite of the PS1 games. Great story, great music, great graphics, great gameplay. I think it holds up really well. So yeah, whereas I have played some of Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater, and it's not aged great. I mean, I know there's a remake coming, but some of the controls are pretty bad, and that first release has got terrible camera. Although the theme song is great.
I
I was going to say,
all
Final
these
Fantasy-
Metal Gear Solid games, you Pengi.
Yeah,
Yes.
none of them are me.
God, I know my list is boring, but I kind of have an excuse for my list being boring.
Yeah,
God,
but-
Pengles, you need
Metal-
to. You've played everything ever, and this is what you've come up with, Pengi.
Yeah, but Metal Gear Solid is a PS1 game, Metal Gear Solid 3 is a PS2 game, Metal Gear Solid 4 is a PS3 game.
Dull, innit?
Yeah,
dull.
there's always an element of Chris Pengelly in anything we do with this, isn't it? So, Pengi,
Final Fantasy 9 does not have Snake Eater, which is the greatest song ever in video games, and Snake Eater is my number 3 or 4 favorite game of all time. But Final Fantasy 9 is my favorite Final Fantasy, and it is in my top 15 or 20 games of all time, and it does have BV, who is one of the best Final Fantasy characters. So Final Fantasy 9 can go through because we got to put a Final Fantasy game through, haven't we?
thank God.
Yeah.
Thank God. We haven't need to use Craig in his trailers just yet. Right. A bit of a strange one next, because I think it's more straightforward than it looks. Uncharted 2 Among Thieves versus Persona 5. For me, as much as I prefer Uncharted 3, I think it's going to have to be Uncharted 2, because I haven't finished Persona 5, and there's just better versions of Persona 5. As in Persona 5 Royal is better than Persona 5. I think the argument could be made that Metaphor might be considered the new favourite of those people. But yeah, for me, it's got to be Uncharted 2. Any comments on this at all, Craig, before we go over to Pengi?
Nope.
You haven't played Uncharted, either of you.
Nope.
Madness. It's madness, isn't it, Chris? The level of which they'd be in your top 20 PlayStation games is insane. Maybe even higher.
Not even. Yeah, I was going to say not even PlayStation, just games and.
You can play
Yes, I
all
think
5 of them on Plus for free now, can't you?
I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. God, get on it, Craigie. Pengi.
Yeah. So both of these are mine. So yeah, and Persona 5 is higher in my all-time games list, but Uncharted 2 is the more PlayStation game. If that makes sense, so I will put Uncharted 2 through.
Yeah, I think it's fairly iconic, isn't it? Uncharted 2.
Mhm.
Basically,
Yeah, especially that
saved
train.
the PS.
The train.
Saved
Yeah.
the PS2, didn't it? Really, the PS3. Sorry, it was
Yeah.
that game.
Yeah. I think the
Um,
only problem is Craig does replay. I mean, plays Uncharted 1 first. I'm oh, it's a bit iffy, and it's no,
the
yeah.
PS4 version of 1's pretty good.
yeah, but it's not Uncharted 2 or 3 or
No,
4, is there?
no, I don't know. I prefer 1 to 4. I think 4's a bit long.
Of course you would.
4's one of those
4
games.
is long.
4 is long,
4 is long.
and 4 is the most like The Last of Us of any of them.
Mhm.
But 2 and 3 are 10 out of 10, 10-hour adventure games. They're great. Right, Astro's Playroom versus Killzone Mercenary. I'm assuming Astro's Playroom is Craig for the virtue of that he
Yep.
hasn't played enough games for this to be on.
Honestly, it's a great game in its own right. so I feel.
It really is, but the problem with Astro's Playroom is now, because it was for a long time. I know we've done this podcast for literally years, and I've always been it's the best PlayStation 5 game, but it's so overshadowed by its full game counterpart now. But I mean, again, I've played both these games, so I'm going to give it to Killzone Mercenary. It's probably in my opinion, the best exclusive Vita, first party Vita game. I think it's a ridiculously good-looking game. I love the money system for the multiplayer that runs into the single player and vice versa. The 4v4 multiplayer is actually really, really good on Vita and PlayStation TV, and it's the best Killzone game. So that's my pitch. I assume Craig will go Astro because he's actually played it.
Yeah.
So Pengi, you've played both as well. Where do you lie?
Astro's Playroom is good, but like you said, Astrobot is now a thing, and so I'm going to put Killzone Mercenary through.
It's very diplomatic of you, Pengi. And to be honest with you, looking ahead, it's not going to get past the next round, so we'll just give it its flowers. But Astro's Playroom is great. It's free. everyone should have played it and everyone should platinum it because it's just that good, isn't it? Really.
Mm-hmm.
So next, this is another Pengle's decider, I suspect. Persona 4 Golden versus Ratchet and Clank 2016. Now, once upon a time, Craig, we did an episode with Pete, me and Pengi, that was about PlayStation games, and I believe this was my PS4 and PS Vita favourite games at the time. I obviously am going to say Persona 4 Golden because it is the most... I don't want to be one of those people that's like, it changed my life, but like it was one of those games. I used to come home from work, and I used to do 65 lates when I first went to Taunton, and I met you guys, and I was like, my life was fucking miserable. I used to work 2 till 10, then I'd have a 40-minute walk home because we didn't have all the shortcuts we have now. And I used to get home, sit on my sofa with my Vita, and I'd play a couple hours of Persona every night for like 6 months. I think it took 120 hours to finish. So yeah, for me, it's a very special place in my heart. So I think I'm going to have to vote for Persona 4 Golden. I love Ratchet and Clank 2016. I don't think it's not my favourite Ratchet and Clank. It's essentially an enhanced remake of the first game, which is cool. It's a very good looking game. But Rift Apart's better. A Crack in Time's better. So yes, Craigo.
Yeah, I'll just go for Ratchet 'cause it's the only one I played. But I do very much like that 2016 Ratchet game. And as I'll maybe talk about later, there's some parts of that I do wish they had more of in Rift Apart.
Nice. Pengi, you are the decider here.
Yeah, Ratchet and Clank is good, but it's not Persona 4 Golden, is it? It's Persona 4 Golden. It's like the Vita game.
Right, correct answer. Now we've got a Vita showdown in the next round. Who knew the Vita had enough games for a showdown?
Mm.
God. I mean, we say that like me and Chris didn't literally start a podcast because we loved the Vita that much that we're still talking on right now. So,
yeah.
Shout out to the Vita. Next one. Oh, God. Ape Escape versus The Last of Us Part 1. Unless you've got anything else to say, Craig, I'm just going to let The Last of Us go through.
No, I did like that Ape Escape level 1 Astrobot though.
I played the PS1 one. Was it this year or last year when they brought them out? Was it last year, Pengi? It was last year.
Something like that.
And I really enjoyed it. It's a very, very fun game. But again, I can't sit here and argue with The Last of Us. I hate The Last of Us, but I can't sit here and say that Ape Escape is a better game. It could be argued whether which one's more iconic for PlayStation, I guess. But I mean,
which is Last of Us?
Yeah, I mean, it's been re-released 40 times.
Which one got their Astrobot level? You know, that's what I'm saying.
Right, which one's still good? But yeah, well, I've actually instinctively written Ape Escape. That's really funny. Didn't mean to write that. T-Lao.
He's tricked him.
Well, imagine. I'm just like, yeah, it's Spider-Man versus Ape Escape. Chris, I don't believe you voted for that. Right, there we go. T-Lao. Right, here's one for that's going to upset me. Final Fantasy X versus Marvel's Spider-Man. I'm obviously going to go for Final Fantasy X because it was the reason I bought a PS2. Still love it. Should I drop dead at any point? I've already said to many people, the Xanakin theme is what I want playing at the funeral. That's how much I like that game, and I'm being deadly serious when I say that. But Pengi, Craig, talk to us about Spider-Man.
Actually, this is my least favourite Spider-Man game.
I think I agree with you. No, I don't. I don't like 2. So I think it's the middle one for me. I think Miles Morales is the best one.
So, you know what? If I'm gonna maybe veto my vote here. So I wouldn't be against a Final Fantasy game going through above this because, yeah, like I said, it's on the list because I put it through. But I would say, it's maybe one of the ones towards the bottom of my list.
Pengi?
What about you, Pengi? Do you feel strongly either way, or would you?
I would go Spider-Man. I've played Final Fantasy X. I don't think how far I got into it.
I'm pretty sure I played it for you on a podcast.
Yeah, you played some of it for me. Yeah,
when they did the HD version, didn't they? I think.
Yeah, I think I played a good. I want to say about 10, 12 hours of it. I'm in like a corridors which is like all very blue from what I remember.
It's half the game, Chris. To be honest with you, it's when they first started corridoring it up.
Yeah, there's a lot of corridors. I remember.
But Blitzball,
Thing.
Chris. Can you play Blitzball in
Yeah.
Spider-Man?
No, you can't play Blitzball in Spider-Man. But Spider-Man has made $3.8 billion for PlayStation. Has Final Fantasy X done that for PlayStation?
We'll never know.
No.
It's fine. We'll let Spider-Man go through. I'm not
I
gonna...
tried for you, Dave.
It's fine. Final Fantasy 9 got through. What I am not going to stand for, though, Craigo, is this last one, which is Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped, going in unopposed, Chris.
What do you mean unopposed?
Can you remember what you put at the bottom?
It goes up against Final Fantasy 16.
So it goes in unopposed. Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped.
It goes up against Final Fantasy 16.
Chris, you try and tell me now with a straight face that Final Fantasy 16 is better than Crash Bandicoot 3 Warped.
It is better than Crash Bandicoot 3 was. I'm voting with Craig here. Final Fantasy 16 goes through.
Well, this is a bit like the Spider-Man one where I didn't have a lot of selection. And Final Fantasy was probably more, Final Fantasy 16 is probably more towards the bottom of my selection, so I wouldn't be exactly upset if something else that was maybe better, a bit more interesting went through.
Maybe more iconic for PlayStation, Chris.
Yeah, maybe a bit more interesting to what we've already got as well.
It's also not going to get through the next round, so...
Okay.
Crash 3 Warped! Great game. Everyone should play the remakes, they're great. Right, let's back to the top. We've got a Spider-Man shootout. So Spider-Man 2 versus Miles Morales. For me, it's Miles Morales. So, Pengi.
This is a tough one. Miles is pretty short, but like that whole setting of Christmas and stuff is pretty memorable.
It was just such a more concise game.
And
it really
Miles,
was.
Miles is a much better character than Peter, so I would want to go Miles as well.
Nice.
Most probably.
You going to try and fight it, Craigo? Or are you going to let it happen?
Yeah, I prefer 2. I do. Miles is very good, and I do love the opening of Miles Morales as well. But yeah, I would go 2. I do like the kind of the very.
We'll say about Miles Morales that there isn't a thing. Well, isn't a thing in Miles Morales, and is a thing in 2, Craig. Those fucking Mary Jane bits. They're better. They're better than they were in the first game, but they're still there.
Yeah, they are definitely still there. But yeah, I mean, if we want to put Miles Morales through, I'm happy with that.
Again, I'm not sure it survives into the next one. But yeah, we go. Right, so the next one is Gran Turismo 2 versus God of War 2018. So unless Chris prefers Gran Turismo, I think I have lost this one, and it's going to be God of War.
Yeah, it's God of War.
Yeah.
Let's keep this moving. Next one I'll let you two argue about before I give my 2 pence. Metal Gear Solid versus Ni no Kuni 2. Craig, tell me why Ni no Kuni 2 deserves it more than Metal Gear Solid.
I mean, Metal Gear Solid is just a boring ass shitty stealth game, right? Ni no Kuni 2 is quite fun. I like the whole you're building your kingdom and your town, Davey. That's what I liked about that game. You do your side quests for your person, and you come live at your town, and you do shit at your town. That was great. I like that. It's the classic regional British accents in an RPG because that's what you've got to do, right? But yeah, for me, it's quite an easy one. I know I haven't played Metal Gear Solid, but I imagine if I did, I'd very quickly turn it off and be like, no, Ni no Kuni 2 is better.
Pengi?
What day? It's very beneficial PlayStation.
I want to hear your pitch.
I said to you, best PlayStation games, you're going to play Final Fantasy 7, Metal Gear Solid, Tekken 3, aren't you? It's just that simple, really.
It's a crime that Tekken 3 is not on this list, by the way. Crime.
Yeah.
Penguin's list is boring.
I just know Final Fantasy 7, but we got Final Fantasy 9, so that's fine. Yeah, it's... What again is you're saying about like Persona 4 Gold? I changed my life sort of thing, but Metal Gear Solid did sort of do that. And it's like, oh, it's a cinematic story-based game. You can have those type of games, especially on the PS, 1. And you got like the iconic boss fights against Psycho Mantis. I know you like Castlevania, Dave.
Another game that didn't make the list.
Yeah, I know, it's crazy, isn't it? There's something like and now, having changed the controller, having to, like, look at the back of the box to get the codex for Meryl. It's like, That's crazy out of the box thinking. And
Don't-
it's got boxes. You know, you can be Snake inside a box.
Don't worry, Chris. I played it this year, didn't I? So it's all. I'd already typed it when you were talking.
Okay.
So Metal Gear Solid 3.
Excellent.
But I've also already typed the next one because it's Journey versus Astrobot. And I'm going Astrobot. Craig, what are you going?
Yeah, obviously Astrobot.
Pengi?
Doesn't matter, does it?
No. So we got that. Astrobot's free. Next one, a very tough call for Dave. Final Fantasy 9 versus Uncharted 2. It's more difficult for me because Uncharted 2 is not my favourite Uncharted. Because if this was Uncharted 3, I'd be like, oh god. But Uncharted 2, the final boss is kind of crap. They killed off, was it Greg, the cameraman?
Mm-hmm.
And that's a crime against all of God. It's tough because I really love Final Fantasy 9, but I also understand that most people prefer Uncharted 2. Do you have any thoughts, Craig, in your little beautiful head? Would you like? And I suspect Uncharted's going to get through this anyway. But would you play either of these games?
I mean, I'd probably play Uncharted. But...
I really think you should. I think we need some
that's
sort
not
of.
the question, is it,
I think
David?
we
It's
need.
not
I think we need some sort of New Year's resolution where we put forward some games for people to play. Pengi, tell me what you think before I inevitably break and say Uncharted 2.
It's really hard because like I didn't obviously put Final Fantasy 9 through because on it because you already picked it, and 9 is my favourite Final Fantasy. But in Uncharted 2 feels more of the PlayStation game, that sort of thing, and it is, like you said, like really helped the PS3. You could argue, especially for you not liking Last of Us, like it set Naughty Dog down that path if you want a negative sort of point of view on that sort of thing. But it's really like, this is PlayStation now going forward. It's these really good cinematic games that are like all 90 plus and all amazing, and that's what Uncharted 2 is.
Yeah, we can't really argue up on Uncharted 2 free. Next, it was a good run for Killzone, but Persona 4 Golden's getting through.
Yeah, it's Persona 4
I'll
Golden.
speed that along before my battery dies. The Last of Us versus Spider-Man. I mean, I'm obviously choosing Spider-Man myself because I don't like Last of Us. Craig.
I think Craig's going to have to make a choice here because I'm not conceding on Last of Us to Spider-Man because it's not the best. It's not even the best Spider-Man. And The Last of Us is like one of the greatest video games.
You know what, Pengi, have it. Because like I said, it's not really my favourite Spider-Man either. So
Another game that Craig really needs to play.
What, The Last of Us? Yeah. Maybe Craig needs to like, do a month where he just plays all Naughty Dog games. Uncharted 1 all the way through.
It's the nature of Craig being newish to PlayStation. He's got so many fucking games to catch up on. Crash 3 versus Horizon Zero Dawn. I love Crash 3 with all my heart. But Horizon Zero Dawn was my favourite Platinum Trophy on PS4. It is an incredible game, so I'm going to go for Horizon Zero Dawn. Pengi.
Horizon Zero Dawn.
Craigo.
yeah, I've not played Crash 3, so
That's wild. You really didn't have a childhood. Someone forced him at gunpoint to play N64. I've accidentally made it grey now and I don't know how to change that. Okay, whatever. Right, let's back up to the top, which is Miles Morales versus God of War 2018. Craig Warren, start us off.
If this was Spider-Man 2 versus God of War, I think it might be a bit closer, but I think for me it's quite comfortably God of War. I think God of War is so good. It's such a great game.
Pengi?
It's God of War. Even though Miles is good, it is God of War. I think it's pretty far ahead of it.
I prefer Miles Morales to God of War 1, but that's because I prefer Ragnarok. But it's obviously free. Ragnarok's great, Craig. I cannot believe you haven't played that yet. Metal Gear Solid versus Astrobot. Astrobot for me. Craigo?
Yeah, sure.
Sorry, Pengi.
Mm-hmm.
It's got Metal Gear Solid stuff in it, though, right? So.
Yeah.
This might be a Chris Pengelly deciding vote here. Uncharted 2 versus Persona 4 Golden. It's got to be Persona 4 for me. Pengi.
It's Uncharted 2 for me.
Ooh, Craigo, this might be the first step
You
in.
have to talk it out, boys. Talk it out. Here we go.
I just don't think it's going to get changed. It's not even my favourite Uncharted game. And it is my favourite Persona game. And my favourite Vita game. Of my favourite PlayStation console.
But Uncharted 2... It is a tough one, Dave, but... Because I haven't got much different on my top... like, my PlayStation list where I took the thing. I got Uncharted 2 is 14th, Persona 4 is 17th. But then Persona 4 has now come to everything. Uncharted 2 is still a full fat PlayStation.
You can't knock it down just because it's been ported, surely.
Yeah, it's been ported, see, so, you know, Uncharted 2 is the more
It makes
PlayStation
it less
game.
of a game, Dave, if it's on more consoles.
Yeah, makes it less of a PlayStation game compared to Uncharted 2.
Craig, I need you to get the trailers out.
Talk it out, everyone.
No.
It's like, what?
You're gonna have to trailer it. It's not. My mind's not gonna change, and I was Chris's. So this is the first instance of the trailer usage. Get up. You've played Metaphor. You haven't played any Naughty Dog games. So all I'm saying.
We should have just asked Craig, what would you sooner play?
Well, that's basically what.
Among Thieves.
Yeah.
Tomb Raider
Among Thieves.
or
Yeah.
Metaphor?
That's basically what we're asking now. Really, is what Craig. What are you gonna play? Sexy Japanese RPG goodness.
Right, there's a 1 minute trailer from. Oh no, wait a minute. There's one from E3. 15 years ago, Dave.
Hell
There you go.
yeah, that's what we want.
All right, we got it up. Okay, let's talk. I'll talk you through it, boys. I'll talk you through it. Don't worry. We've got the Sony Entertainment. Naughty Dog. Yeah. Okay. Some ice effects of the Naughty Dog logo.
It's a good trailer, if I remember rightly. Is he hanging from the train? I think.
Yeah. Oh yeah. There's a guy walking through some snow in a blizzard.
Oh, yeah.
He's about to fall over. He has fallen over. Dodgy voiceover going on. I can say that. Very dodgy.
It was a different time.
Yeah. I don't know if that'd be frowned upon now, Pengi. Some temples, boys. Some temples. No gameplay yet, though. That's the issue. Oh, there's a helicopter. What's this? Was it PS2 or PS3?
PS3.
PS3.
Okay. In my head, I was thinking PS2, but maybe I'm thinking PS2 was much better than I remember it being.
Yeah, PS2 does not look good now. You'll see, actually, because just Persona 4 Golden was originally a PS2 game, so...
Oh, he just swore in the trailer. This fall, apparently. 15 years ago, this came out. Unless it was delayed back then.
The Uncharted trilogy on PS4 is a must play for Craigo in 2025.
Mm.
I think that's what we're learning from this, Pengi, as well. By the way, like it's a must play. I've been considering replaying them, but I don't know.
Am I doing Persona 4 Golden, or am I just doing Persona 4 here?
Oh, Golden! It's
Golden.
got to be Golden.
Yeah,
It's got to be. It's got to be
Golden.
Kane. Not to be confused with the anime. You might have to specifically say PS Vita at this point, or like Xbox or whatever. Actually, do own Golden on PS5, Chris, as well, because it was like £8 in a sale like 6 months ago. I'm not going to replay a 120-hour game.
That's just very anime.
Yeah,
It is very anime. It is very good. It is a very good game, but it's not Uncharted 2.
it's so good that I still own the like special edition Vita version of Dancing All Night with like the box and everything, and the DVDs of the animated TV show. I love that game. I was obsessed with it for like, God. I mean, again,
It's just a Game Pass trailer. I'm going Uncharted 2.
it's upsetting, but I knew it was going to happen. But this is why we had you here, Craigo. You have to be taking choices. So, next one is The Last of Us versus Horizon Zero Dawn. Craig Warren.
I let Spider-Man die last time. I mean, I'm guessing Pengi's gonna go for The Last of Us here, and Dave wants Horizon, right?
Absolutely.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I do like Horizon. It's not like massively high. So I'm guessing this is like Pengul's favourite game of all time ever.
But think about
Pretty
that.
much.
Think about that Frozen Wilds DLC, Craig.
Yeah, I mean it's yeah. I like Horizon enough not to let it slide to
I was going to say, think
Spider-Man.
of Pedro Pascal, even though that's a shit.
Yeah, no, I would go Horizon.
Yeah, we'll put it through because one day he'll play it, and then this won't be the case, will it? So
Yeah, one day he played, he'd be like, "Oh, I remember that podcast he did. Yeah, I should have let Last of Us go through."
right, we're on the semi-finals now. We have got God of War 2018 versus Astrobot. Craig Warren, you are going first in this discussion.
Oh, this is probably the first one where it's actually like really tough for me. Because I do very much like Astrobot. God of War, I feel like was in my when I started in my top 100. I think was in my top 10. I think it was number 10.
Still need to do that video, by the way.
Do I like Astrobot? Enough to go above that. No, I don't. I think I'm gonna go God of War.
Craig, Pengi.
God of War, please, Davey.
So, wasn't expecting. I was gonna go Astrobot again. Both great games. Ragnarok's better, just better than God of War. That's fine. So the other semi-final, Uncharted 2 versus Horizon Zero Dawn. Pengi, give us your opinion first.
I think this is closer than you think, and it is a hard choice. But I'm looking at my top 100 list here, Davey, and there is Horizon and Uncharted 2 right next to each other, and I have Horizon higher than Uncharted 2, so Horizon.
Yeah, it's going to be a three-way. For me, Horizon Zero Dawn. Its legacy is a little bit ruined by the fact it constantly keeps getting re-released, and they just put too many Horizon games out. But unbelievable game. One of the best 2 weeks I ever had was getting a platinum for Horizon Zero Dawn.
Horizon is such a weird series, isn't it? Because
Yeah.
no one really talks about it that much compared to your God of Wars and stuff. Yet the first one on the leaked document sold 34 million copies. We get all this Horizon content, and then we're doing this, and we're putting it very high. And
But yeah, me and you both were on Forbidden West. But everyone's
it's only the DLC that was really really
right.
good.
But I'm sure and every time I go back to Forbidden West, I'm like, oh, this game's fun. Why don't I like it? And I'm like, oh, it's too big. It's too big and boring. But I'm like, the story's great.
I'm just looking at the trophy list of Horizon today. It's it's only got 4 cauldrons. I was like, okay, cool. That shouldn't take long.
Yeah. The platinum for Horizon Zero Dawn the first time around, I haven't seen the remaster, was a really fun platinum. It was a really interesting. It didn't take that long at all. I think about 60 hours, maybe 48 hours. But yeah, it is wild. It is wild that it's
Yeah, because I reckon, most people think God of War, Uncharted. I would think more people would go Bloodborne even above Horizon. I mean, it only has one game, and it would have sold 6-7 million copies.
I think the sickos they've all got their own niche, haven't they? What they like.
Yeah.
With the Souls games. Right, Craigo. We've got a shootout, a PS4 shootout. Who would have thunk it? For our Save Slot 3 official best PlayStation game ever, we have got God of War 2018 versus Horizon Zero Dawn from 2017. Talk me through your thoughts first, Craig.
So, I mean, just carry on a little bit before we go. So, I'm a little bit surprised that Horizon has got this far. Actually, I like it, but I don't know if I like it quite that much. But I guess it does have the virtue that all three of us have played it, which does kind of skewer it a little bit, doesn't it? For me, it's quite comfortably God of War.
Pengi?
God of War is higher on my top 100 games list. It was God of War.
Yeah, again, it's a tough one. It's a really tough one because God of War is one of those games. I remember that it took me quite a while to get to it. I think I got it when it became a classics collection. Pengi, you have to
possibly, yeah.
But yeah, really, it's a really good game. For me, I just prefer Ragnarok. I played Ragnarok in January.
Yeah, I thought Ragnarok was good, but just thinking more like a little bit like Spider-Man 2, like it's more God of
Did
War
you
and a little
did you
bit big.
also play Valhalla though?
I didn't play any
See,
Valhalla.
that is
Yeah.
it's that extra little, because that's the Frozen Wilds for me. Is that extra little bit of like love that I have for Zero Dawn. But obviously we're going to give it to God of War because it's 2-1 anyway. So God of War is our official Save.3 best game ever on the PlayStation platforms. Woo. There won't be a Nintendo one, so don't wait for us to do a Nintendo one because we will not be doing a Nintendo one because it would be a very boring
but
list.
Nintendo's the best.
When Craig puts Mario Kart 64 on there 10 times.
Yeah.
Oh, we could do the Sega list.
Yeah, alright, just Sonic 2. Done.
No, and then Craig puts Yakuza on it. And
You could try, but it's not better than Sonic 2, is it? So, or Crazy Taxi, or Choo Choo Rocket. But yeah, God of War, great game. Again, all this list has said to me is that Craig Warren needs to quit his job and he needs to get playing some fucking PlayStation games. And Pengi needs to be a little bit less boring in his list writing. That's the two things. The two things we're learning.
Some imagination, Pengi, some fun. Crikey.
Yeah, I just I stuck to my sort of list, and like I didn't go for like Metal Gear Solid 2 because I put 3, and it's like I got 1 from, let me just have a look. What would have been the next 2 games that weren't Metal Gear? Because I had 3 the highest Metal Gear on my list. What was? Give me 1 second. Then Dave could be very disappointed. He was like, where is my... So the first 2 games that wouldn't have been Metal Gear for us to replace would have been Uncharted 4. But obviously we put Uncharted 2 3, and Tekken 3 would have been the if I was to replace Metal Gear Solid 4 and Metal Gear Solid, Dave, it would have been Uncharted 4 and Tekken 3.
Fair enough. Fair
Said he
enough.
wanted Tekken 3.
Tekken 3 is great. Tekken 3 is really great on the PS1.
And then if you wanted a replacement for Uncharted 4, it would have been Ico.
Yeah. Oh god, no.
But then I guess if you had a replacement for Ico because Shadow Colossus, would have been Resident Evil 2.
I think
on the PS1.
I think the most interesting part of this discussion is the lack of PS5 games. Because usually recency bias would really pump numbers up, wouldn't it? And I know that it's difficult because Craig's obviously only played PS4 and PS5, but we're looking. Let me zoom out a minute so I can give it a bit of an easier read. Zoom out. Yeah, so like the semis being a PS2 game, a PS4 game, the one PS5 game, and then another PS4 game. Because how far have we got to go back before we get something alongside Astrobot? Spider-Man 2,
Morales and 2, I guess.
Yeah, but that's the second round. In the third round, no. So yeah, we're looking at really like the only PlayStation 5 games that got through the first round were Astrobot, and then Spider-Man 2, but that was a buy. So that would be my one concern.
Yeah, the only thing is, it's like Stellar Blade I really loved this year. I was not, it's not top 30. I'm looking at my top 30 PlayStation list I've got. It's like, yeah, Stellar Blade is not better than Silent Hill 2, which is my favorite PlayStation game.
Yeah, and again, it's more an observation than me having a moan, to be honest with you, because it's like I'm probably enjoying my PS5 this year more than I've ever enjoyed my PS5. So like I'm looking forward to like maybe next year doing a 5-year stopgap on PS5 games. Maybe we'll do see if we can do a combined top 10 PS5 games or something. But yeah, I think it's very interesting. And again, like I said, Craig's got there's so many games on Plus. Craig could not buy another game on PlayStation, I think, for like 6 months and still have 9 out of 10 games to play. It's insane.
Yeah, I guess his problem was as Horizon left, and it's God of War. Actually, God of War isn't Ragnarok isn't on Plus, is it?
It must be. It must be soon because it hasn't been on yet. It's coming to PC like this week, right?
It's already on PC.
It's already on PC. I thought it was coming in December, but if it's already on there, then I think that's the next thing. Really great game, Ragnarok. I played it in January.
Yeah, it's good. Like I basically platinumed it. I wouldn't, it's just that broken thing. So yeah, it's a very good game. It's just it's not the first one. His thing.
And obviously, I like the original God of War games were good as well. The original
then God of War 2 would have been like the first highest Like if I was going to pick God of War's in order, like God of War 2018, Ragnarok, God of War 2.
Yeah, Ghost of Sparta was pretty close for me for my PSP games. Because I don't think any PSP games made it into the list from anyone.
No, PSP is odd. Like Crisis Core would have been like one of my highest PSP games, for instance.
But I think the porting of games has killed you a little bit because I think it colours your perception. So like because Crisis Core is now on, it was such a like forbidden fruit before because you were so like was so desperate for it to come out on modern consoles, but now it has, and it's like those consoles include like PC, Switch, and Xbox. It's like, is it a PlayStation game? Because like you said it while we were talking about Tekken, which is really funny because Tekken was the most PlayStation franchise up until Tekken 4, because Tekken Tag Tournament was also exclusive. So I think 4 might have been 4 was definitely exclusive.
4
so like you get into like
it might be 5
or 6 that come to 360.
PS3, yeah.
Yeah, so like it's quite an interesting thought. But anyway, we do need to move on because
I just don't got Crisis Core that high on my play. But it's high. It's in my top 30 PlayStation games and stuff thing. So yeah.
And Craig obviously played that on Xbox, so he doesn't. It's not nice. Is there any games before we move on to the next? Is there any games you've come to see in these lists that you're like I might play soon, Craig?
Oh, I don't know. There's so much. There's so much there, David. There's so much, and there's so much coming out. There's always.
Well, speaking of which, we're going to transition straight into our final segment of the show.
It's like 20 games out this week.
All right, and Chris has bought them all. What we've been buying and what we've been playing, Craig. What have you bought? What have you played, my boy?
In terms of playing, on the Xbox, mainly more COD, obviously, David, which you spoke about earlier. Which I'm still very much enjoying. I'm still probably going to play a little bit more of, just because it's a fun-ass game, right?
Christmas is coming, boy.
And I do quite enjoy it. It's weird. I feel like gun-wise, I feel like the assault rifle is just like the XM4 everyone uses. That's quite clearly the best assault rifle, right?
Sorry.
But I do quite like how like pretty much all of the submachine guns are viable and they all feel quite different. So I'm quite enjoying just playing around with that at the moment. I've mainly been using the little PP thing. I quite like that gun.
The overpowered gun that everyone's using.
I don't know if I'd say it's overpowered. To
everyone's using it though, Craig.
I don't know. I feel like there's I think pretty much all of the you see people using the Tanto, the KSW.
Yeah.
The G, whatever it's called, the Jackal, which is the one that was nerfed. So yeah, I don't know. I feel like you can pretty much any submachine gun is very good. So yeah, I'm quite enjoying. Like I said, the assault rifle is a little bit boring. Cause it's just like just the XM4 just seems to be quite clearly the best. Whereas yeah, like I said, submachine guns you kind of play around a bit and see which ones you like. So I'm liking that at the moment. And then on PlayStation, I think I'm nearly 40 hours into Metaphor now.
Yeah.
Woo!
I've done what I'm assuming is the big dungeon in the third area, and it's just basically at the point now where it's like, oh yeah, the event that's happening, and to end this little section happens in X amount of days, and you've still got X amount of days left, so you can do your stuff. So I've been doing all my companion links or whatever they're called.
Nice.
At the moment. To get them up. I'm a little bit like the companions are they're okay, but they're very much just like little visual novel-y bits. They're not like, oh, you do this and then you get a quest really. Well, the quests are very basic, the ones that I've had so far. Unless maybe when you max them out, you get more of a quest. Cause that, you can get like a special dungeon you can go to or something. That'd be cool, right?
Yeah.
But yeah, at the moment it's just been more like, it's just like a little visual novel or something like that, really. So yeah, still going with that, and then I have been carrying on with more Ratchet and Clank Rift Apart. I think according to my save on the game, I'm like 53% through. But according to the PlayStation, I'm like 43% through. So I imagine the save on the game is probably more accurate. Mm-hmm. I have been doing the side quests as I go. In the world, so the little optional bits, like you find all the shrines, and you got to feed the dragon on that level. I've been basically doing those as I go through, so that's maybe why it's kind of buffed up my percentage. But yeah, I've been very much enjoying it. As I kind of alluded to a little bit earlier, I do kind of wish it was a bit more silly. It feels like a very PlayStation-y Ratchet and Clank game. I don't know. I don't know if I'm wrong in what I'm saying here now. But that 2016 one felt quite silly, quite goofy. You know, quite like aware of itself and making fun of itself in a lot of ways. Whereas this does feel like more of a right. This is a serious PlayStation game, and there's feelings and there's a there's emotions and stuff. I'm like, seems a little bit strange in this game. But I think gameplay wise, it's brilliant. It obviously runs very, very well, and I'm very much enjoying using all the guns because that's pretty much what these games boil down to, right? It's how much fun you're having with the weapons. I really like is it the topiary sprinkler you call it?
Yeah, I love that
I
one
really
as
like
well.
using that, and it sprays the enemies, and then they turn into like bushes.
Yeah,
And
they
stuns
just
them.
level up the Zircon to full power and then just go fucking wild.
Yeah, they're called like Mr. Fungi on this one.
Yeah, you get because you get them both, don't you? If you level it all up, you get Mister and Mrs.
Yeah,
Which
that's
is
what I've
great.
got.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly what I did. Like all the big engagements on this game, I throw out like a couple of the Mr. Fungi's, a couple of the sprinklers, and then I'm just running around with the shotgun thing, basically.
Yeah.
It's kind of how I'm playing it, just in the middle of the chaos. But yeah, it's very, very fun. So yeah, I'm looking forward to playing more of that. I think that's everything from me.
Yeah, definitely. It's a great game. Uses the controller really well as well for the stick. The like, I don't know if you've noticed the triggers if you
Yeah,
pull
the
them down
half pull
halfway and all that. Yeah, it's great stuff. Lovely, great game. We'll do me next, and we'll get into the big dog. So technically no pickups yet. I have got some stuff coming.
Oh, I'm going to Pengles you a minute here, Dave.
Yeah,
I didn't talk about my pickups, did I?
you didn't. Oh, you
No.
really are peak Pengles. Right, what you
Yeah,
you bought?
it's proper. I've proper Pengles you there, haven't I?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've really done you dirty there. I'm sorry, mate. In terms of, I think I've bought quite a bit in the old Black Friday sales.
I love to hear it.
Yeah, which is a very un-Craig thing to do, but it is getting towards the end of the year, and I was like, oh, there's some stuff I might want to play next year. I'm picking it up now cheap. Obviously, I mentioned Space Marine earlier, which I got for like 26 quid. So that's coming from Amazon, so that should come in a couple. Well, I think Wednesday. I think it says that comes. I did also pick up Alan Wake 2, the deluxe edition, the physical on Amazon on the Xbox, which has now arrived. Which I'm looking forward to playing that. I don't know whether I'll play that this year or maybe next year. But again, that was like £36, I want to say, for a game which looks fantastic, and obviously you get all the DLC and all that jazz as well, right?
Nice.
So I'm looking forward to that one. Did also pick up Destroy All Humans 2 on Amazon because that was a tenner. I think that was on PlayStation because I think it was only the PlayStation version that was on the sale.
I did see that from when I looked, it was like dispatched within 1 to 2 months. I think.
Yes, yes, it is a strange one.
Yeah.
I did have a look because it's like, my arrival date is like between December 13th and January 3rd, I want to say.
Nice.
This is very un-Amazon like. But yeah, at the end of the day, I was like, well, I'm probably going to, one I could put on next year's backlog list anyway. So it's not what I want to play tomorrow. So I did have a look as well to see if it was like on either of the digital Black Friday sales. 'Cause I thought I could always just cancel the Amazon one and get it digitally. Because if it's exactly the same price, then it's a teller. It doesn't really matter if I own a disc or not. Even if I'm reselling it, it's not that much. It's not really worth it, is it?
No.
But I think it was. I don't think it was on the Xbox one. I think it was on the PlayStation one. But I think it was like £14. And I was like, well, just for the sake of £4, I'll just wait and get it whenever it comes, right?
Yeah, it is indeed
Yeah.
$13.99.
Yeah. So yeah, that is coming at some point. Before January 3rd, hopefully. And then the last thing I did also pick up on the PlayStation Digital sale was Lost Judgment. This was on both sales, I think, Xbox and PlayStation Digital. But the story expansion for this, the Kato Files, I think it's called, it's only on sale on PlayStation, whereas
Yes.
on Xbox it's like 30 odd quid, I think.
Hmm.
So I was like, well, I can get on PlayStation. I can get the game and the expansion for, I think it was £17 I paid for both combined.
Nice.
Yeah, whereas like I said, the Xbox, I think it was like £12 for the game, and then like I said, like £30 for the expansion. So I was like, oh, just want to pick that up on PlayStation, so I do have that digitally as well, because that's obviously left the PlayStation service, which is annoying, fairly recently. So yeah, I've got that, which will again probably be on my backlog list for next year. Right, Dave, I'm actually done now. I'm not going to pengles you again on this. Carry on.
You sure? 100%. Okay. So,
Well, actually, Dave, there was no. I'm sorry.
I imagine. So pickups technically nothing. There is some games coming. So next week's show, I will have some pickups. I'm actually quite excited for a lot of the stuff that I've got coming. I know that I'm getting stuff for Christmas as well, which obviously doesn't count until the Christmas Day episode we do. But yeah, really excited for lots of games. Really, what I have been playing, boys, on Xbox, Call of Duty with Craigo. Like I said, we got pretty obsessed for a week or so. Still want to get to zombies, still want to get to campaigns, still want to play more multiplayer. It's the best COD in a long time. The only other Xbox game I've been playing really is World Rally Championship Generations. Now, as you all know, I do go through those games bit by bit. I pick them up all together in sales usually. Like I did 9 and I got to like 98% completion. I've done the same for 10 apart from the co-op and online missions, so I've now moved back onto Generations, which I actually bought over a year ago. I looked at my achievements. Yeah, it's the best one of those. They've done a lot of work on it. It was the last one they did, so it's got a lot of quality of life improvements. It's a great game. I've had it for a while. There we go. Now on PC, Craigo, I played this. So Steam does this thing where you buy games, and if you don't want to keep them after 2 hours, you can sell them, or you can get your refund. So I did that for Balatro, for the sake of a Game of the Year conversation for us. So I played 1 hour and 55 minutes of Balatro for free. I get it. Shit is addictive as fuck. So it's one of those I'm quite tempted to pick up either digitally on PlayStation, or because the physical with all the extra shit is always on sale for like 18 quid or whatever. So I might get that again on PlayStation so I can play it on Portal. Really, really great game. So the game is because it terrifies me, Craig, whenever I read roguelike, because we don't like that stuff, do we, me and you? But it's not what you think. It's basically just 5-card poker. You make a hand, whatever, a 2-pair or a flush or whatever, and then the joker cards are like multipliers, and they're all different. There's 150 of them. They're all really strange, and you get different ones throughout, and then you do the rounds, and you build up, and it just gets harder and harder and harder, and you have a higher score you need to get, basically. And you get into like a flow state of like, right, well, I've got these 2 jokers that combine, and then every time I play a face card, it does this, and it's insane how simple of an idea it is and how like well done it is. But I found myself, I played like 2-3 runs in this hour 55 minutes, and I was like, I need to send this back, otherwise I'm going to play like 40 hours of it on my Mac. But obviously if I'm going to play it, I'd rather play it on like a Portal and have it a bit more like that, because my laptop traditionally is just for recording this podcast and working. I haven't played that much Football Manager this year, so that I wanted that to stay that way. But yeah, really good game. I still don't think it's Game of the Year, because I don't think games like that should be Game of the Year, because I'm a old person that doesn't like indie games. But yeah, really, really, really good, and I do recommend it. Should it come to a service, or I think its RRP on digital is £12. So even if it got a 10%, like £1 something off, I do really recommend it. And yeah, really good, really good. And then on PlayStation 5, Chris Pengelly, all I've really played is Dragon Age: The Veilguard.
Woo!
Which I'm on chapter. What's my trophy say? Chapter 9.
You're getting there, because after chapter 11, it's no point of no return.
Yeah.
I know it's like 4 chapters at the end, but yeah, they're pretty linear.
And I'm trying to do every
Smash
side quest as they come. I'm like really trying to like rinse the content. I still am baffled that this game is as unloved as it is, Craig, because it is really good. Like graphically, it's really good. Story's really good. The gameplay is so fun. The world's big enough that you can do what you want, but it isn't so big it's overbearing. The fast travel system's really good and quick. The equipment system's really satisfying to use. There's a couple like generically written characters, but on the whole, most of the characters are pretty good. Like Lucanus, the
Lucanus, he's great. Yeah,
Spanish guy, like he's really good, and I really like Harding from the last game. I quite like De Veren, is quite funny. Nev's alright. Like it's really the only character I think is that fun is Tash, because she's kind of boring. She's obviously very woke, but she's just very really boring. And I don't like Belaria's voice actress. She's really annoying. But Varric's cool. Like it's a cool. Like I like the old dude, the necromancer dude. He's funny as well. But yeah, really good.
Manfred.
Yeah, he's funny. Like he's a funny character. And they've all got their own little world. And yeah, it's just a really well made game. Yeah, really baffled by its lack of anything. But I do really highly recommend it. And yeah, my plan is to get that like done and platinumed probably before Christmas, so I can then get on with the inevitable influx of Christmas games. But yeah, really recommend Dragon Age. And that is all I've played, Chris.
Nice. You sure?
I'm sure. I'm not going to pengle
pickups.
himself. No pickups. Next week we got lots of pickups. I think me and you could spend an hour doing pickups next week.
Yeah, sure. So me played nothing on Xbox, nothing on Nintendo, nothing on Retro, no PC. It's all PlayStation. All PlayStation. So I think I might have finished Lego Horizon last week. Was very close to finishing it. If I hadn't, I finished it, and I've also got the platinum in Lego Horizon, which ended up being quite a boring platinum in the end. You got to get all 4 characters to the level 20. So Aloy, after finishing the game, was really close. I think it was like level 18. That's what I mean, so it was like really quick. And then I think Erend was the next highest, because he's like level 11. It's whatever they joined the party as, you know, the highest level character at time, that thing. But there's only like 4 levels in the game, really. And so it's like, oh, I got to do these 4 levels like over and over and over and over again with 3 other characters to, you know, get these so it was definitely like a grind to get the, you know, the platinum sort of thing. And like, and there's like more stuff you could unlock in the game. Like they could have made like get all gold Lego bricks or something for a trophy instead of like grinding for all these characters. I think maybe it makes sense because it's like more of a kids game with co-op. So if you're like, oh yeah, it doesn't matter, I'm replaying the level because little Timmy wants to play some Lego Horizon or something, or we're redoing redoing the level and they're leveling up this character that they're playing as, sort of thing. Yeah, it did get kind of boring in the end. I think it took me longer to get that platinum than actually finishing the game.
God.
Yeah, so it was that. Then I went and played, because it was leaving. I was looking at what was leaving plus, and then I saw it was not very long. There's a few other things leaving plus a little bit too long. I played Metal Hellsinger.
This is not on my bingo card for Chris Pengelly games to play on.
Yeah,
2024. I'll be honest.
Yeah, and it's actually pretty decent. It's kind of short. There's only like 7 levels. I'm guessing it's because obviously it's music based. So it's a first-person shooter, and then when you got to try to shoot in time to the music, and all the times like the music's like metally rock stuff, and you get points and stuff because you can like point chase. If you like perfect it to the beat, you get points, and even the environments like the flames are all to the beat and stuff, and you know, like other things. Yeah, it's actually quite cool, neat. Like I said, the levels are kind of short, but I guess because you can. I was like, oh, I'm not going to make a song 2 hours long or something, and things. So, that the one issue I did have it was the boss fights. This like the same boss fight for all 7 levels. It makes sense for the story and why those boss fighting stories all narrated and that's pretty cool. And it's got like some like comic cutscenes. It's how the cutscenes yeah, it's just like a fun 4-hour I'm blasting demons to bits with some rock music going in the background, sort of thing.
It's always
and
one of
it-
them that like when it came out, I really wanted to play it, and it was just I guess it just got crowded out by other stuff coming out. I just never had a chance to play it. Like,
yeah.
going
At
back to it.
least I think at least the 17th of December. But like you
Oh,
said,
okay.
there's lots of games, but it is pretty short. So, and weirdly, it's like I got 76% of the trophies, and I did look. It's like it's a doable platinum, but it's got like some challenge levels and stuff, and I did a
No,
couple of
that's
them.
the kind about Chris Pengi. He doesn't like challenge, right, Davey?
Oh yeah,
He draws the line at that.
yeah. It's like I did a couple of challenge levels. Like, ooh, this could take a while, and it could be one of the things I get like 20 of them done, and I can't do the 21st. I'm like, so annoying, sort of thing. But so I'm done with Metal Hellsinger. I've played, finished it. What trophies I got is what trophies I've got. Then I went like the complete opposite of the spectrum of a first-person shooter with metal music and fighting demons. I played neither thing. I was kind of disappointed with this at the start of it after like the first chapter or season because it's done in seasons. So I was like, oh, this isn't actually that good. Was Gris better than I thought it was, and sort of thing. But I thought it got better when it got going, especially in the third season of the game. Well, got a bit better. Like I really love the art style and stuff like that, and like the music it has got in it. But yeah, I think I'm gonna have to agree with Craig because you played this recently. That Gris is the better game, but I haven't played that since it was a Switch like time exclusive, so that was quite a while ago.
Yeah, I feel like it's like Never's a good game. I don't think it's like isn't it like an 88 on Open Critic?
Possibly, and it's up
Yeah,
for a
it's
few
not that
awards,
good.
up like the Game Awards
Definitely.
and stuff like that in there. Uh,
Like, I've definitely played better indie games this year than.
It's an 87, 93% of critics rating, and 90 player rating as well, because you can now do user reviews and stuff on OpenCritic, like on Metacritic, and it's a 90 on that. Yeah, that's mental.
Like
That,
Dungeons of Hinterberg is a much better indie game.
yeah, yeah. Like, yeah, I did enjoy it, and I have got the platinum for it. I was missing 3 trophies when I finished it, which was the flowers. I was missing 2 of the flowers. I think it was feeding Neva and what's the other one? Soothing Neva were the 3 I was missing.
Oh
So
yeah.
yeah, so that was that. So I got the platinum on that one. So yeah, it's fine, and it's not that expensive. I think it's like 15 quid.
Yeah, it's well priced. Yeah, I think it
Yeah,
was
it's well
like
priced, so
16.
it's not like, oh, it's a 30 quid indie or something like that. We got that, like, you can. And then the last one, Dave watched me and he played some of this, and he was in the chat. It's trading card shop simulator.
I did.
Maybe.
I did popped in that stream.
And you popped in that
Saw
stream.
Pengi was
Mhm.
streaming and thought, well, got to put a comment. And how was
Yeah.
trading card shop simulator, Pengi?
Weirdly, I actually did like the weird loop of it and stuff like that, but yeah. I expect the actual one on Steam is much better, TGG Simulator. And as I said on the stream playing this game is delisted. It literally got delisted like after a week it came out. Like I was sent this review code. I was like, oh, I'll play. I was gonna like play it right away or whatever. And then I got an email from it's like the game has been delisted. And I was like, okay. So I was like, no hurry to play content. Play this for any reason. I just randomly did today, streamed it, and I did get the platinum on this as well. I looked on PSN profiles and True Trophies. From what I can think, only 14 people have played this game, and 13 of them have the platinum. Only 1 doesn't. So, and neither of you are going to be able to play it because it's been delisted. So it's a very strange title. I know games get delisted all the time, like Forza Horizon 4 gets delisted this month, but obviously that's you can understand that with licensed cars and tracks and music tracks and stuff like that. But yes, a very odd game to be out for a week and then get delisted. What does he think it is? Concord?
No, that's it. I was about to make a Concord joke there, Pengi. You beat me to it.
Yeah. So yeah, but I have got the platinum on that as well. That's 3 platinums out of the 4 games I played there, Davey.
Nice.
Nice.
You bought or
And
played
like,
anything else? There we go.
and I have one pickup so far. And it's Gran Turismo 5.
Nice.
I mean Gran Turismo 7.
Yeah, 7. 5
Yeah,
was
7.
PS3
Yeah, I put 5
game.
because I put 5 because PS5, I guess. Yeah, Gran Turismo 7, which I picked this up on the Black Friday sale. I had a £10 voucher for game, so I got this for £29 and thing. It took ages to install because it's 121 gigabytes, so sort of thing. So I've not played that much. I did have my save from when I played it on PSVR 2, sort of thing. So carried on for that, and I've done a few of the cafe menu things, which is, I think is quite a good, like, not story, but how they like trying to teach you stuff and give you the history of like different cars. Like, this is the history of European hot hatches, and then you go drive one and learn a bit more. It's all pretty cool. Sort of thing. I mainly picked this up because I kind of fancied a racing game, and obviously for pro reasons as well, because it's a pro enhanced title. But yeah, that's currently my only pickup, and I've enjoyed what I've played it at so far. I mostly just like finish it because there is a like a trophy for like finishing all the cafe menus and stuff like that. So that sort of thing. But yeah, that is everything for me.
Perfect, Pengi. So we're going to end the episode on almost a preview for next week because my laptop is running out of battery. Pengles,
Yes.
is this the final episode of PS5 Pro Watch?
It should be. It
Should
should
be.
be.
So you're expecting it. So you have bought one. Let's just say
Mhm.
you have paid money for a
Yes.
PS5 Pro, a PS5 Pro disc drive. Do you get the stand, or are you gonna have to buy that separately?
No, I'm not fussed on stand because I lie it down anyway. So
And obviously, what's the games that come with Call of Duty? Is it just
Call
Call of Duty?
yeah, of course.
So
I didn't want Hogwarts Legacy, so
fair enough. A game does really well with my friends. But so hopefully next week will be a Chris Pengelly PS5 Pro first impressions. I would imagine you'll find on at least Chris's channel an unboxing, and setting up the disk drive, all that kind of good stuff, Chris. I'd imagine that's what you tend to do with new consoles.
Mhm.
So we look forward to that. But yeah, it's finally over, Craig. How do you feel?
Yeah. It's been an emotional time for all three of us, hasn't it?
It has.
For all three of us for different reasons, I think.
Yeah.
And I think the good thing is we've got through it, and we're probably stronger for that, right, boys?
Yeah, I mean, again, if we had more battery, we could talk about lots of 30th anniversary stuff and how PlayStation has become yet again the primary platform of this podcast, which it was many years ago. But we'll talk about that next week. But if you've got this far, comment it below what your favourite PlayStation game is of all time, and Chris will tell you why you're wrong. But we'll see you next week.
Bye.